Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Shots of Info. This is Michael. It's another day. Just a quick disclaimer. Everything said in this one is just for entertainment purposes only, so don't take us too seriously. But yeah, without further ado, let's get started.
All right, let's jump right into what topics we have for the day. So, on personal development slash fundamental slash foundationist slash flourishment.
We still
We're
debate on the name.
yeah, we're still trying to come up with something. I mean, we don't have to, but I feel like it'd be a nice little addition there. But on that section, we have what to do when you feel burned out. For fitness, we have what are the general guidelines to achieve moderate level of fitness. And on the finance, we have who makes more money, investors or traders, plus news updates at the end.
Very good.
All right, so let's jump right into the number one. What to do when you feel burned out?
So burned out as in like tired.
Like let's say, you're a college student, right? And you're burned out of all the classes and all the studying and all the exams. What do you do in those moments?
That's me right now. You gotta take it easy. You gotta take a breath. Maybe go for a walk. Reorganize your schedule so you can get little things done first. So what I do, I literally have it done right now, right there. It's I list that things that everything they have to do by the end of the semester, in addition to my other projects. So everything they have to do during this period of time. So what I do is I divide it into three different categories. The first category will be the easy ones, the easy tasks I need to, to do, like pretty much. The next category will be things that the deadlines are approaching like very soon. So, for example, let's say all the work, all the homework that I have to do this week. For example, today I have a quiz, so I had that down in the second category. And the last category is on the like the those that like I have to do it by the end of the semester. So such as papers, finals I need to get ready for, and stuff like that. So once you have categorized this, all the things that you need to do, it will be easier for you to tackle them in an easier way, and also not feel too overwhelmed when you're doing your task. And also gives you like some time breaks, like to catch your breath instead of just like working. No, as else you're gonna burn out even faster. So definitely, I still do yoga every morning, so that keeps me sane for most of the time. So just take half an hour to an hour. I usually, before I post the audio for this podcast, I usually re-listen to it just to make sure everything's cool, and I usually listen it while I'm doing yoga. Just funny. Just what ways to kind of multitask at the same time.
Mhm.
But yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, you took like I was asking the question from a school perspective, but obviously we can also do it from like a work perspective. But just to give some quick things on the school. So I would definitely say that one of the bigger things with feeling burned out from school, like I get it. We've been doing school for like what since we were 5, 6 years old, and like if you didn't take a break at any point, so you went from elementary to middle school to high school to college, it could be pretty tiring, pretty burned out. Like you're just reiterating things that you've already done, or you feel like you're learning things that you don't need to learn. Um, and I'm in that same boat most of the time. Just like, why do I need to learn these things? Like a lot of these things aren't really necessarily useful.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a discussion we could have at another time of like the education system and how it works nowadays. But um, at the end of the day, like when it comes to at least college, a lot of it is just getting the degree, right? It's not necessarily
Right.
like you needing to become a master at the subjects that you're learning. It's just getting through it. So understand that at the end of the day, it's not necessarily that you have to master these topics, even though it's probably a good idea that you do at some point, but it's not necessary. Just you gotta kind of just get through it. So just find little ways in order to, relieve the stress. So like you were saying, you can do your yoga practices and things like that. Because at the end of the day, again, it's just about getting the degree. It's not really about the learning aspect. that comes later on once you maybe have a job and you're more stabilized and you don't have to worry about loans or paying for school or whatever the case might be.
Mhm.
Um, but jumping off of school and going more towards like work, what do you feel like when you're burned out from work? What do you do?
Mm, Usually take similar approach. Now, right now my job is pretty light. I'm an instructor for little kids. Everything is virtual, so everything is fun in games. But before I used to work overnight in a hotel. That used to kill me. That like literally kill me. Because I would go from, like a morning schedule to like a night schedule during the weekends. So it was like a little bit like it was tough. Like I feel the pain for those that work overnight because it's really, really hard, especially you like an adult. Like me as a as a young adult, I can manage because have the energy for it. But I used to work with this 50, like 60-year old, and he used to like be falling asleep in the lobby with me because it's tough. And even though he did it like almost like all the week. Now, when that happens, I think it's important not to rely on on caffeine or like substances to like um, kind of fight this or fight like the feeling that you're tired, because if you look for energy like in an external source, you don't realize that you're killing your body. You got to give your body like a rest, like a little break. And now also figure it out if that's something that you want to do in the long term. And if it's not, then it's time to move on to something else, or it's time to seek other opportunities because there are plenty out there. You just got to go and look for them.
Yeah, for sure.
um, but yeah, but let's say you're not in the possibility to like change jobs or stuff like that. And same thing, you gotta take a like a approach. You gotta manage your time well, as well as set a schedule for the works the best for you. So like for example, if you're working overnight like I was doing, then try to get as much sleep as you can in the day, even though it might be hard. But try to get those 8 hours of sleep or get those few hours of sleep. That's the reason I value sleep so much nowadays, is because I was sleeping like 4 or 5 hours before, like during the weekends, because it was so hard for me to fall asleep during the day because my body was not used to. And I went like that for like 2 years, so it was crazy. But that can affect like a lot of aspects of your life as well, like like personally, academically, if you're married, like like your relationships, like if you're in a relationship, that can affect your relationships as well, because that portrays every aspect of your life. So
Mhm.
first you got to find the problem and come up with a solutions or multiple solutions that can benefit you, or you can put it on practice. So if he's doing yoga, if he's meditating, if he's going for a run, for a walk, do that, because it really helps you to come into the mindset of calm your mind, or kind of re-energize your body as well when it comes to that. Don't rely on external sources. That's really bad. That's really bad,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
So I would also say that, like you were just saying, right? Like you got to figure out if this is something you want to do in the long term. So a lot of like most people, I would say that are burned out from work is simply because they're doing something they don't actually like doing. They're kind of
Mm.
doing it because they have to do it because they need the money or whatever the case might be. I'm not gonna be wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. You got to do what you got to do in order to survive and get to where you want to be. But so I'll take it from experience that I have, right? So as a personal trainer, back when I was getting started, a lot of my time was spent in the gym just trying to find clients. And like I've told you before, like there's days where I've been there from 6 in the morning all the way until closing.
Mhm.
Or I was there from the moment the gym opened, which the hours before used to be 5:30 in the morning, and it closed at 11, and I was there the next day. So that very quickly can burn you out because you're just putting in so many hours. You're not really getting much return in the beginning. Um, so a lot of that, I would say, like now I'm good simply because I finally found a good balance of my timing. I get that I'm trying to go out there and get my clients and do the work that I have to do, but at the end of the day, where am I most effective? because I know that if I'm there all day, my energy level is trash. I'm not going to be able to communicate my thoughts and my ideas and be a good salesman when I'm too tired to even just have a basic conversation with somebody, right? So you have to be really diligent about finding that good sweet spot in terms of how much hours you can be productive, and then
Mhm.
using that as the time that you're actually working, as opposed to just burning through energy and hoping that something works out.
Right. You definitely are more passionate about like a job that you want to do. Like you're definitely gonna put more work, and you are definitely gonna work out while doing it because you're passionate about this job. So in my opinion, if that's the case, then in the long run, it is worth it because you're gonna see the you know like like you know kind of like the dividends paying itself later
Yeah,
on.
the return on
Yeah, the
investment, right?
returns are much greater now, not just money wise, but or financial wise, but also like a fulfillment for you because you're passionate about what you're doing regarding on like the job that you're doing or maybe the projects that you're taking on. But when it comes to like just a job, so just to pay the bills, it's a little bit more frustrating and more stressful, I think, for people. And yeah, so I'm grateful right now that I'm doing something that I love and very flexible with my schedule. So
Yeah,
everything works out at the end of the day. So you just gotta go out there and look for opportunities. Because if I never left the hotel, I would probably still there and probably will be like a cranky, cranky Mike
I
all
could have
the
been a
time.
manager,
I
but
used to be cranky before.
it's convenient, right? Like
Yeah.
you like doing what you already know how to do, but at the end of the day, if it's not something that you want to do in the long
Mhm.
term, you should always definitely be looking for those opportunities to move and level up.
Right.
That's the thing. People, they get stagnant, they get comfortable, and they get complacent, and then they don't make any progress. So don't be that.
It is what it is.
Um,
What would you recommend though? Like what would you say good habits or solutions, or what work has worked for you when it comes
so
to
for
the topic?
again, for me, like I was just saying, to find a good balance of the timing. Again, like as a trainer, I can kind of make my own hours because my job is based on me making sales and training my clients when
Mhm.
the schedule fits, right? But I know
Right.
that most people don't have that kind of flexibility with their timing. Um, so again, I would say just do the best that you can to keep balance of everything. Don't let the work get you too stressed out. When it comes to
Mhm.
school, same idea. Um, and again, with school, it's only temporary, so just kind of try to get through it. Do the best that you can. With work, I would say try to find something that you actually want to do while still doing the thing that you're doing. Um, for some people, that might be like having like a YouTube channel or whatever. Or for other
Mhm.
people, that's like they need to go back to school to get this degree to do this thing. Do the work that's necessary to get to that point. Just understand it's going to take time. With anything that you want to do, it's always going to take time. You got to have
Let,
patience.
let me piggyback from the idea of about a school. Now, I agree with Randy. Like you not necessarily need to masters, the topics that you're learning on school. The idea is mainly, like in my opinion, the idea for a school is mainly to socialize, network, and get into the habits of always learning. Like see what works for you, what's the best ways that you learn. Because at the end of the day, us as humans and us as like what is it called, professionals, we're gonna learn every single day at work. We're gonna keep learning. Like if you're not learning every day something new, then I don't know what you're doing. But that's the idea about school life for me. Like to develop habit that works for you when it comes to learning. Are you a visual learning? Are you a reader? Or do somebody has to explain to you, all stuff like that. What works for you when it comes to learning? And that's the major aspect that comes when it comes to when school for me. Because like most of the things that I do now, I'm a senior. Most of the things that I do is learning by myself, especially now in virtual times. Like my professors, they don't really teach me shit. So, you know,
I mean, I
so
would wager say they never did, but it is what it is.
to be honest. But yeah, all right, not
All
to
right.
talk shit to my professors. They're cool, but you know, you always got to do the extra work outside of the classroom, outside of the classes, the actual classes.
Yep.
But yeah, all
All
right,
right.
we can jump into the next topic.
Yep. So now we are on fitness, and we are going to. This one should be pretty quick because these are just like straight up guidelines. So what are general guidelines to achieve moderate level of fitness? So these are recommendations made by like the certifying bodies of the health and fitness profession, not
Hmm.
even like the industry, but like the profession. So ACSM, American College of Sports Medicine, uh, NASM, and well, not NASM. Those are certifying bodies for personal training. But kind of like the people that make the curriculum for athletes or just people in the general population to be healthy. Um, so this is what they got. So you should be strength training at least 2 to 3 times a week for about 40 to 60 minutes. Accumulate 150 minutes of more of moderate intensity cardio. So think of like walking or jogging.
Hmm.
Do that for about 150 minutes a week, or 20 to 60 minutes of vigorous intensity, um, of high intensity cardio for per week. And that's kind of think of like, you're running or you're sprinting, you're doing like if you're an athlete, you're doing some sort of high intensity interval. So like running around across the field or something. And, think of there's different ways of doing high intensity cardio, but just imagine doing as hard intensity cardio as you can for about 20 to 60 minutes.
Hmm.
Um, After that, we have doing at least 10 minutes of flexibility and balance training 2 times a week, if not every day. And yeah, maintaining a healthy diet. And that's it.
Yeah, definitely the diet is a huge player on those, in my opinion. Now, I'm not a professional by no means, but this is what have kept me healthy and fit all these years. Even though I have a little chubs now because quarantine, food, house. I will core exercises. You can do them anywhere. You can do them at your house. You can do them, anywhere that you find a time and spot. So what I mean with core exercise, push-ups, pull-ups, and squats. Usually those are made to go. Literally, that's gonna work out like your entire body, like the upper chest, back, and a little bit of your glutes. Now for legs, I usually try to go to the gym because I need weight. I don't weight enough. I don't weigh too much, so my legs are kind of getting
Chicken,
there.
chicken legs.
Yeah, chicken. Yeah, yeah. Bro, I never had chicken legs though. It's
No, I used to play
that's
soccer,
good
so you had
genes,
strong legs.
to be honest. All right. Yeah, so usually stretching, I agree with that. You need to stretch, especially if you are a student and you're sitting down most of the time, or you have a job that requires to be sitting more than 8 hours. Do some sort of stretching. Yoga has worked for me. Um, like I watch videos, see new, exercises, what they do for, like, what they stretch. Make sure that you kind of learn them and master, not master, but like, do them correctly, because that's also very important. Because if you're not doing them correctly, then you're not getting all the benefits. So stretching is really good, and that improves your balance and flexibility, while you also working out a little bit of your core that maintains your strength, at least at your body weight. Diet, that's huge. If you're eating trash every day, it's going to reflect on the body. But if you're eating healthy, if you're eating your veggies, it's going to reflect as well. And that's a huge player on those to maintain fit. We don't mean just looking good, six packs, chest mark. No, fit means that you're healthy inside and out. So
Hmm.
yeah.
That's
You
pretty
want
much
to
it,
ask a
man.
question?
Those guidelines are there specifically just to, give you a moderate level of fitness. It's not to make you an athlete, make you a Superman or
Right.
anything like that. You're not supposed to be looking like you have striations and all the definition throughout your body.
Mm-hmm.
Again, this is just to keep you sane and healthy, and as this is what they you would consider the minimum dose for the maximum benefit. Like you do this amount, and you would get most of the benefits when it comes to being healthy and doing exercise.
Nice, nice.
All right,
Yeah,
so let's
that,
just
those are
jump
really
in.
good ones. Those are really good ones.
Yeah, easy
Cool.
stuff. You don't have to kill yourself. 20 60 minute or 40 to 60 minutes on strength training 2 to 3 times a week. That's manageable. You can definitely find the time to do that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's jump into the last topic here, not to make this too long. So now we got the finance. We have who makes more money, investors or traders?
Depends on how you see it. I feel like traders make the most money when it comes to short term. Investors, they make the money on the long term.
Mm-hmm.
What's the difference? Short terms means that, let's say within this year or within the 2020, you make 50K. Now, as a trader, you're gonna keep trading, right? But the the what is it called? The risk for you to losing those 50K or even more are higher because you're constantly trading. And one trade that you do wrong, it can go south, and you lose all your gains, and you can even lose your capital. So it's a little bit, it's higher return, but the risks are higher as well. Whereas as an investor, you play on the safe guidelines, like you invest for the long term. So you're going to start seeing the return within like 5 years, 10 years, like actual returns. But it depends on, how you go about it. Like if you want to become a millionaire, you want to be rich really fast, then definitely trading might be your best option if you're willing to take the risk. But if you just want, you know, to build wealth, like overall, and also master the skill of investing, then long term might be the solution.
You know what I would say?
Mm-hmm.
Why not both?
What's up?
So why not both? You can do both.
Oh yeah, no,
Um,
definitely, definitely. I do both, so it's a
right.
better
So
balance.
here, I'll give you an example of mine. So right now, what I'm doing is I'm trading, right? But I'm also investing simultaneously. And within this month, or within this past month,
Mm-hmm.
I've made about 12% on my investing account. And on my trading, I've made about 8%.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm trading with a lot more money than I am investing with, but on a percentage return, my investments are making me more money than my trades. So that's not always going to be the case because obviously the markets have up and downs, right? But
Right.
long term, you're usually going to see a greater return on your investment simply because that's the way I do it. I can just keep adding on to that. With my trades, even though I can do them constantly, there is a limitation and also the risk. Your risk is always going to be bigger.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I can go in, let's say yesterday I had a good day, right? A little under 2% return. So it's
Yeah.
about like
So,
$200.
and you finish
Uh,
early too, right?
I finished right around 12.
That's good.
So like to me, that's again, this is a game and it's almost like a job. But hypothetically, let's say that didn't go well. And instead of gaining those 200 or almost 200, I would have lost that same amount. Now I have to go out of my way to be really disciplined to either A, try to make that money back on the same day, or B, walk away, understand that I made a mistake and just take the loss instead
Mhm.
of digging myself into a deeper hole, going
Right.
back in and trying to win what I lost. And instead of doing that, I doubled my loss. So I feel like investing is probably the better option. Um, but again, the reason why I trade is not really because like, you know, well, I mean, I'm trying to make money, but for me, I like the game of trading. Again, this is a game to me. This is not necessarily like, oh, like I need to do this in order to make money. I don't need to. I'm a personal trainer by trade. I like doing both. And I'd rather be trading and doing that actively than, playing games on my phone or doing something else, just kind of wasting time.
No,
But
for
yeah.
sure. For sure. Definitely, I completely agree with you on the aspect that you can do them both. I do them both, but my main focus due to times constraint is mainly investment. So I'd rather sit down and spend 1 or 2 hours, finding new companies that want to invest, or maybe ways that I can improve my portfolio for the long term, rather than just sitting down and doing trades. Because trading takes a little bit more of your time when it comes to daily. So I missed out on gold. Well, playing against gold because I was holding some shares and I kind of sold that too early, in my opinion. But that's mistakes that you will learn and something that I can look back to and say like, oh shit, I should definitely look more into it, like see what is happening with the economy and see what's going on with gold around it. So that's something new those you learn, and I feel like investment is definitely more what's it called, more interesting to me, or like more enjoyable for me
Hmm.
because that's something that I'm going towards, like something that I'm working towards in the long term, like in the future. Like for me, I don't see myself as a trader. I don't see myself as, you know, a stock trader, like you know, like a trader, like a daily trader. I see myself more as an investor. Now, just not just in the stock market, but also in like real estate, businesses and stuff like that, like more portfolio, you know, things that things that you know I want, and I have already begun on that journey. So that's something that I want to keep learning more and more and more, and I'm more passionate about. So you know, everybody has a different goal. And trading is not for everybody. Investment is not going to be for everybody as well. So take it what kind of resonates with you.
Yeah. Take it with a grain of salt, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I'll tell you right now that trading for me didn't really take off until I did it like for the third time. Like I started, then I stopped because I kind of found it too complicated and a little boring. Then I did it again, same thing, complicated and boring. And then for some reason on the third time it ended up working out. And I
Mm-hmm.
started kind of just jumping in, watching more videos, understanding the different tools that I had available. And you know, it kind of just ended up working out. And again, like one of the good benefits of you being a good trader is that you're able to actually make money.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're good, right, and if you're smart, what you do is you take your winnings from your trades and you can reinvest it into your investments, into your a long-term portfolio. Because
Mm-hmm.
again, like I just told you, I've made 12% this month on a long-term portfolio versus my short-term day trading portfolio, which means that obviously I'm making more money just buying into stocks without doing anything as opposed to me actively trading.
Mm-hmm.
I'd
How
rather
about you
do
definitely doing your research though regarding the investment? Because I know you've been checking on like EVs, like the future project and stuff like that, and that's what investment is all about. You know, doing research,
100%.
understanding what it what the company does. So I definitely seen the change because Randy was all about trade, 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 resistance, support, resistance, support. Like literally, those are just traders terms. And lately, he has been doing more about like the investment side, like the investment research, like thinking, okay, this has
There's a synergy.
market cap. Yeah, to be
You have
honest.
to find the balance between those two things. It's
Mm-hmm.
just the thing. If it's all trading, there's influences outside of like the market that are going to affect the stock. And if you don't understand why that is,
Mm-hmm.
at some point your trade is going to go to shit, right? So it's going to break below that resistance. And you're like, well, I didn't check the news. And then you go check the news, like, oh, this bad thing happened with this company. So from this point forward, it's just going to keep going down.
Right.
Or it could just be one of those random days where, you know, the whole market is down
Mm-hmm.
and this thing is going to follow with it. But that doesn't necessarily mean that the company's bad value. It's just at this point, it lost that support and it'll come back within a couple hours, if not tomorrow.
Yeah. So let's analyze what happened yesterday, for example. Um, Major companies, so like the FANG, Facebook, Apple, Netflix, and Google, were all and Amazon were all down yesterday, like down, like comparing to like the Nasdaq fell down, but the under industry, the under indexes, they were up actually. So the commodities, what it was, even EVs like electric vehicles, they were
Killed
all
it.
up. And what kind of surprised me from my portfolio yesterday after my last analysis, it was that hospitality, it's getting there. Like that's what
Mm-hmm.
kind of held my portfolio, in a constant balance. And also Tesla held it a lot, helped a lot.
Mm-hmm. Killing
So
it.
yeah, so it's interesting to see that tech are getting back to the balance, getting back to kind of like resonating in
Yeah.
like that also has some um to do with some news as well. So
Mm-hmm.
why don't we jump into some updates?
Yep. Real quick. So what do you got?
Yeah,
What news updates are you looking at?
yeah, sure. So yesterday, every single index, end up positive. So that's really good to see. Like we not seeing red this week so far,
Mm-hmm.
but um, yeah, energy was electric surge 7%, financial, industrial, and consumer discretionary all close up over 1%. So we can see right off the bat financial and consumers directionary. So like hospitality, airlines, and stuff like that. They all were on green yesterday. But then we have tech, healthcare, and real estate were all negative. So yesterday they were actually on red. So we have Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Netflix, and Google. Like I said, they all finish not too bad. Apple and Netflix were definitely the big loser yesterday, with almost 3% each of them. Now, former Fair Chat is Biden's pick for Treasury Secretary. That was kind of like interesting to see because he has experience regarding like financial sector. We'll see what happens on that. Other than that, we've had some earnings reports. Not too interesting to be honest, because I'm not looking into none of those companies. Snapchat is taking on TikTok. That's interesting. Snapchat announced the launch of its new feature, Spotlight, a function similar to TikTok and Instagram Reels. So they're copycat everybody, each other nowadays. See who can get more audience.
That's it.
Yeah. And then we have the vaccines fight. There's right now I think there's like three
Yeah,
vaccines
there's like 3 companies that have vaccines now.
out there, but none of them have gotten approved yet. So that's interesting to see. Yeah.
Apparently, like they're supposed to come out with it like December 11th. That's when they're gonna first start trying it out on people, but we'll see.
No, I hear that what's it called? That the FDA is gonna meet up soon to just discuss about Pfizer vaccine, but there's nothing in that regard.
We'll see.
So other than that, nothing else too interesting.
Okay. So from my side, again, just a trading perspective, I've been keeping you posted on the electric car companies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Had a killing yesterday. Tesla jumped. All the other ones, Neo. There's a couple other Chinese ones that really jumped up. One that jumped up all the way to like 30 something percent yesterday. So it was crazy. Yeah, man, I think the electric vehicle market now has a lot of hype. And there's just a lot of interest, a lot of production going into it. There's a lot of contracts, like I was telling you, with those companies that are making contracts with USPS. So they're making they make contracts in order to build trucks for them. So that's Workhorse and Arrival, and those two companies jumped up a lot yesterday. So I think until the Tesla gets into the S&P 500 officially, and then kind of like everything starts calming down a little bit, I think that hype is going to continue for a little while. So it wouldn't be too crazy to start seeing like over 100% return if you invest in something now.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, besides that, everything else is, like you were saying, hospitality industries. There are all the little things that were down during COVID are starting to slowly climb their way back up. So that's good to see. Looks like the economy is getting back on track with some healthy movement. The tech industry coming down, not surprising. You can't go so overbought and so overvalued for so long and then not have it come down, right? So this is just like a corrective pullback. No worries there. It'll probably bounce back sooner or later. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah. No, definitely. We've got to see what happens. The economy is in need of a fucking stimulus. There's no talk about that still on the Congress. So that's actually very interesting. Wait, on other news, I heard that we're going in a lockdown starting on December 1st. That's going to be interesting.
Not surprising.
Here in New York, guys. What's up?
So that's not interesting. I mean, that's not surprising, rather.
Oh, yeah, not surprising. But yeah, I mean, I was expecting it because cases are rising. People are not listening. And this is Thanksgiving weekend. What we see about travel this week, actually, I'm curious to see how much decrease or if it remains the same from last year comparing to last year regarding to air travel or just travel overall. Because usually Thanksgiving is one of the times to travel to see families and stuff like that. But this year, I don't think is that possible. Or people, like news are saying not to travel, stuff like that. Well, I want to see just the numbers, how the statistics play out, especially on Black Friday. A lot of retailers, they're opening their sales for like starting with Thanksgiving, I think, like for the whole week. So they're trying to kind of divide the volume of people that goes. But yeah, that's actually interesting too. Also, so now if you looking for deals, if you kind of like scared to go out there because of Corona, you definitely can wait until Cyber Monday and shop online, which is the new
I
trend.
mean, I would feel like everybody shops online at this point, right?
True. Yeah. So that
But
would
if you
be
don't,
pretty
you
interesting.
definitely should, at least for this year.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. I'm curious to see the numbers, like I said, like the statistics, how much people decrease and stuff like that. All right.
Yeah.
That was it for today, guys. Do you have anything else stood up?
No, man. Good talk.
Yeah, for real. All right. Then I say peace out.
Peace out.